there, it's Mrs. Ferris from Wood Library with my friend Bernard, and it's time for some bedtime stories. So let's get started. Now I have to let you know, Bernard did a lot of the picking this week, so we've got a couple of books about bears. So let's start with our first one, which is, my goodness, did you hear that? Mom, there's a bear at the door. This is written by Sabine, Lipan, and illustrated by Manuela Olton. And this book is published by Eerdman Books for Young Readers. Do you see the bear? Yeah. There he is. Sneaking down the hall. Mom, there's a bear at the door. A bear? A bear. But we live on the 11th floor. That's why he's here. Well, how did the bear get up here? He took the elevator. The elevator? The elevator. The bear pressed the button and took the elevator? Of course. The elevator doesn't work if no one presses the button. But how did the bear get to the city? He took the bus. How else? He took the bus. He took the bus. The bear had a ticket? He probably bought one. The bear bought a ticket? Well, he's not allowed to get on the bus without a ticket, so he must have bought one. And how did the bear get to the bus stop? He rode his bicycle. His bicycle? His bicycle. The bear has a bicycle? Well, he has to have one if he rode it. The bear can ride a bicycle? Otherwise, he couldn't have gotten from his forest to the bus stop. The bear came from the forest? All bears come from the forest. This one too? This one too. And where is there a forest in the middle of the city? Well, there has to be one, otherwise the bear wouldn't have come here. And what does the bear want here on our 11th floor? To look at the sea. At the sea? At the sea. The bear from the forest wants to look out at the sea here in the middle of the city. Yes, he can't see it in that thick forest. And how will he look at it from here? Well, through the window. How else? And when he has seen the sea, he'll leave? Not until he's had lunch. Well, what does a bear eat exactly? Black forest cake and honey cake. Black forest cake? Black forest cake. And honey cake? Yes, both. There's nobody to bake for him in the forest. Oh, do you see them? They're having a picnic up on the roof above the 11th floor. And they have black forest cake and honey cake too. And then when he has seen the sea and eaten the black forest cake and the honey cake, then he will go back to his forest? Exactly. First he'll take the elevator down. First he'll take the elevator down. Then he'll take the bus to the edge of the forest. Then he'll take the bus to the edge of the forest. And then he'll ride his bicycle back to his cave. And then he'll ride his bicycle back to his cave. And then? Well, then he'll go to sleep, of course. The bear will be tired after such a long day. Should we do our story about the bear going over the mountain? Can you sit up nice and tall and put your bear right on your shoulder? The bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain to see what he could see, to see what he could see, to see what he could see. Put him back up there, because you know what he saw? The other side of the mountain, the other side of the mountain, the other side of the mountain was all that he could see. Well, I told you Bernard did some of the picking, so we do have a second bear story. This one is called Share, Big Bear, Share. It's written by Maureen Wright and illustrated by Will Hillenbrand, and it's published by Two Lions Press. There's the big bear with a big bucket of blueberries. Do you like blueberries? He does. There he goes. He's picking. Big Bear smiled and rubbed his tummy. The berries he'd picked were, very yummy. He lounged by a tree and laughed with glee. These berries, he said, are just for me. It looks like a trash can full of berries. That's a lot. Well, birds and squirrels and two little mice thought the berries looked very nice. Can you see the two little mice down there? And the squirrels and the birds. Well, the branches shook on the old oak tree and a deep, low voice said, "Listen to me. Share, big bad bear, share." But somehow, Bear misunderstood. He didn't pay attention like a good bear should. He thought Tree said in the deep green woods, "Hair, big bear, hair." "My hair?" said Bear. "Are you sure?" "All right, I guess I'll comb my fur." Look what he's using for a comb. Do you know what that is? It's a fish skeleton. So he slicked his fur back nice and neat, then picked up a berry and started to eat. His friend Little Rabbit and a curious deer smelled the berries and tiptoed near. Branches shook in the old oak tree and a deep low voice said, "Listen to me. Share, big bear, share." But somehow Bear misunderstood. He did not pay attention like a good bear should. He thought Tree said in the deep green woods, "Lair, big bear, lair." Do you know what a lair is? It's like a cave or a den, a place where a bear might sleep and live. "Lair means home," said Bear. "It's true, so I'll go home like he told me to." He lumbered nearby to his cozy den, peeked in the window at home, and then scampered back to the old oak tree and gobbled berries merrily. Branches shook on the old oak tree. A deep low voice said, "Listen to me. Share, big bear, share." Do you think you heard it right this time? Well, somehow Bear misunderstood. He didn't pay attention like a good bear should. He thought Tree said in the deep green woods, "Chair, big bear, chair." So he found a stump and rolled it over, swerving around the bee-filled clover. Bzzz. He plopped his rump on the smooth tree stump and popped in a berry so juice and plump. Branches shook on the old oak tree and a deep low voice said, "Listen to me. Share, big bear, share." But somehow Bear misunderstood. He didn't pay attention like a good bear should. He thought trees set in the deep green woods scare Big Bear, scare. So Big Bear knew just what to do. He jumped in the air and yelled out, "Boo!" Then Bear sat down and said, "Yum, yum. Eating berries is lots of fun." Well, the old tree yelled, "Be nice and share. Don't you know that's only fair? You like it when friends share with you. It's the thoughtful thing to do. So share, Big Bear, share." "Well," said Bear, "you could have told me before." He turned to his friends on the forest floor. "Forgive me, please," he nicely said. "I'm all mixed up inside my head. How could I forget to share? Come, everyone, there are berries to spare." "I like to share," Big Bear sighed. "It makes me happy deep inside." They gobbled berries and giggled with glee beneath the shade of the old oak tree. He's happy now. And what do you do after you have a good snack? You read a story. There are other books about Big Bear written by Maureen, Wright, so you might want to check them out at the library. Well, shall we do a finger play about something that you might eat? Can you get your hot dogs ready? I've got my 5 little hot dogs. They're cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. So fold one down. 4 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 3 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 2 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. So 1 little hot dog is cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and the one went bam. That means no little hot dogs are cooking in the pan, but the grease got hot and the pan went bam. Well, this story is about a snail. What do you know about snails? They have their house on their back. They move very, very slowly, and they usually leave a slithery, slimy trail where they've been. This book is written and illustrated by Corey R. Tabor and is published by Balzer and Bray. One lucky day, Snail was out scooting around when he saw the most beautiful sight. A field of plump, crisp cabbages just across the road. "Well, you won't stop me," said Snail to the road. So he's got to go from here all the way across. Do you think he can do it? Now, Snail had been traveling for some time when he decided to take a break. I must be nearly there, thought Snail. You can see his trail that he left. Is he even halfway across? No. He was watching the grumbly gray clouds when he felt something coming his way. Oh, what it was, well, Snail couldn't say. Some things are too big and fast for snails to ponder. "Well, you won't stop me," said Snail to the thing. Snail was cabbage bound and nothing could stand in his way. "Hey," said an ant, "You," said another ant, "are standing in our way." "We've got a road to cross here," yelled the troop of rowdy ants, and they probably would have carried on like that if it hadn't started to rain. "Rain!" cried the ants. "Help! Help! Help!" Cabbage bound or not, Snail couldn't just leave them there. "Come on," said Snail. "Come in before you drown." There's Snail, and there are the ants. Do you see their little tiny eyes? "Tea?" asked Snail. "Oh," said an ant. "Please," said another ant. "Thank you," said still another one. "That would be lovely," said the ants. Click. "We're sorry," said one ant. "About earlier," said another ant. "Terribly sorry," said the third ant. "Sometimes we get a bit antsy," said the ants. "Oh, I know the feeling," said Snail, and he told them all about the plump, crisp cabbage just across the road. "Mmm," said the ants. "Mmm." Now when the rain had stopped, the ants said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you," and goodbye. "Well, I hope you'll come back soon," said Snail. "Count on it," said the ants, and off they went. "Now, where was I?" said Snail to himself. Ah, yes. Snail was cabbage bound, and nothing could stand in his way. Snail was scooting right along when he noticed something standing in his way. "Lunch," said the hungry crow. "Well, you won't eat me," said Snail. "Can't you see I'm cabbage bound? Evasive maneuvers, evasive maneuvers." So he went. And just like that, the hungry crow was gone. Honk, honk. Snail was very relieved, but a little dizzy from all that spinning. "Cabbage bound, I'm cabbage bound, head in the clouds, but foot on the ground," he sang. Snail scooted and scooted and scooted, and hooray! I made it! But where was the cabbage? "Oh no!" "Well, shoot," said Snail. He had gone out across the road to get to the cabbages, but when he'd gone round and round and round scooting, he wound up going right back to where he'd started from. Oh dear. But what was that on the horizon? That's the horizon right there. Could it be? It was getting closer. It was. What was it? A cabbage, yes. And it was getting closer and closer and closer. The cabbage was coming to Snail. Can a cabbage walk? I don't think so. "Hooray," said Snail. "Snail bound, we're snail bound," said the four little ants. They had helped him, hadn't they? Because he helped them. "Oh, thank you," he said to the ants. "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And then the new friends went inside for cabbage soup and tea, and no one felt antsy at all. Well, can you shake, shake, shake your sillies out, shake, shake, shake your sillies out, shake, shake, shake your sillies out and wiggle your waggles away. And can you clap, clap, clap your crazies out, clap, clap, clap your crazies out, clap, clap, clap your crazies out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you stretch, stretch, Stretch your stretchies out. Stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out. Stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out. And wiggle your waggles away. Time for you to stand up because we're to the jumping part. Can you jump, jump, jump your jiggles out? Jump, jump, jump your jiggles out. Jump, jump, jump your jiggles out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you yawn? Yawn your sleepies out. Yawn. Yawn your sleepies out. Yawn. Yawn your sleepies out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you shake, shake, shake your sillies out? Shake, shake, shake your sillies out. Shake, shake, shake your sillies out and wiggle your waggles away. Well, our next one is a song story, and it's a kind of a long one. It's about a husband and a wife. And there's a lot of misunderstanding about how things should be done. This is called There's a Hole in the Bucket. It's, as I said, a classic folk song, and it's illustrated by Nadine Bernard Westcott, one of my favorites. There's the whole scene. This book is published by Harper Collins Publishers. Henry! Water! Called Henry's wife. So there he goes, up, up, up the hill. He's got a bucket with him, and then he's coming down, down, down the hill. And the water is coming out of the bucket because, well, there's a hole in the bucket. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, a hole. Well, fix it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Well, fix it, dear Henry, dear Henry, fix it. With what shall I fix it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I fix it, dear Liza, with what? With a straw, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With a straw, dear Henry, dear Henry, with a straw. So we got some straw. But the straw is too long, dear Liza, dear Liza. But the straw is too long, dear Liza, too long. Well, then cut it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then cut it, dear Henry, dear Henry, cut it. Well, how shall I cut it, dear Liza, dear Liza? Well, how shall I cut it, dear Liza? Well, how? With an axe, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With an axe, dear Henry, dear Henry, with an axe. But the axe is too dull, dear Liza, dear Liza. The axe is too dull, dear Liza, too dull. Then sharpen it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then sharpen it, dear Henry, dear Henry, sharpen it. On what shall I sharpen it, dear Liza, dear Liza? On what shall I sharpen it, dear Liza? On what? On a stone, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. On a stone, dear Henry, dear Henry, on a stone. But the stone is too dry, dear Liza, dear Liza. But the stone is too dry, dear Liza, too dry. Then wet it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then wet it, dear Henry, dear Henry, wet it. With what shall I wet it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I wet it, dear Liza? With what? You know what she's going to say, don't you? With water, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With water, dear Henry, dear Henry. With water. Well, how shall I carry it, dear Liza, dear Liza? Well, how shall I carry it, dear Liza? Well, how? In a bucket, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. In a bucket, dear Henry, dear Henry, in a bucket. And can you guess what he's going to say? There he comes with a bucket. Oh, he's got his finger in the hole in the bucket so the water doesn't come out. He's got the stone and the axe and the straw. And there's Liza snoozing away on the porch. She's tired, but she better look out. But there's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza. And there he is, holding the bucket over her head. And what's coming out through that hole? The water, the water, the water, the water. And there they are, playing in the water. Must have been a hot day, and I bet that felt good. And if you ever borrow that from the library, the book has the song right in the back, probably with music that you'll be more on key than I was. But there's a hole in the bucket. All right, well, I think we have time for one more story before the flannel board and then our quick finish-up story. So this is called Mother, Mother, I Want Another. It's written by Maria Polushkin Robbins and illustrated by John Goodell. And this book is published by Dragonfly Books. Oh, there's going to be a dragonfly on our flannel board tonight. Well, it was bedtime in the mouse house. Mrs. Mouse took Baby Mouse to his room. She helped him put on his pajamas and told him to brush his teeth. She tucked him into his bed and read him a bedtime story. She gave him a bedtime kiss and then said, "Good night." But as she was leaving, Baby Mouse started to cry. "Why are you crying?" asked Mrs. Mouse. "I want another mother." "Another mother?" said Mrs. Mouse. "Well, where will I find another mother for my baby?" Well, Mrs. Mouse ran to get Mrs. Duck. "Oh, please, Mrs. Duck, come to our house and help put Baby Mouse to bed. Tonight, he wants another mother." So Mrs. Duck came and she sang, "Quack, quack, mousie, don't you fret. I'll bring you worms both fat and wet." But Baby Mouse said, "Mother, Mother, I want another." So Mrs. Duck ran to get Mrs. Frog. And Mrs. Frog came and she sang, "Croak, croak, mousie, close your eyes. I will bring you big fat flies." But Baby Mouse said, "Mother, Mother, I want another." Mrs. Frog went to get Mrs. Pig. And Mrs. Pig came and sang a song. "Oink, oink, mousie, go to sleep. I'll bring some carrots for you to keep." But Baby Mouse said, "Mother, Mother, I want another. So Mrs. Pig went to get Mrs. Donkey. Mrs. Donkey came and sang a song. Hee-haw, mousie, hush-a-bye, I'll sing for you a lullaby. She didn't have a very good voice, but she tried. But Baby Mouse had had enough. No more mothers, he shouted. I want another kiss. Really? Said Mrs. Donkey. Well now, said Mrs. Frog. Oh, said Mrs. Duck. Indeed, said Mrs. Pig. I see, said Mommy Mouse. So Mrs. Duck kissed Baby Mouse. And Mrs. Frog kissed Baby Mouse. Mrs. Pig kissed Baby Mouse. And Mrs. Donkey kissed Baby Mouse. And then Mrs. Mouse gave Baby Mouse a drink of water. She tucked him his blanket, and she gave him a kiss. And Baby Mouse smiled. May I have another, Mother? And you know what she did? Well, she said, of course. And then she leaned over and gave him another kiss. Well, shall we get our bubble gum before we do our flannel board stories? Reach in your pocket and pull out your pretend bubble gum and unwrap it. If it has a wrapper, pop it in your mouth and chew it up until it's all soft and squishy. Is it ready? How about 5 more chews? And put your hand out for the disgusting part. 1, 2, 3, spit it in your hand and clap your other hand on top. And we've got sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your chin. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your arm. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your nose. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your back. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your cheek. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on Mom or Dad. On stick. Are you coming back? I hope so. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your toe. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum. Time to throw it in the trash. Well, our story tonight is going to be on a little tiny flannel board. And it's got 5 animals that you would see at night. There's a dragonfly, a bat, an owl, a beaver, and a raccoon. Well, 5 nighttime animals were right outside the door. The firefly flashed away. Did I say firefly? Or did I say dragonfly? He's a firefly that you would see at night, and he's going to flash away. And then there were 4 nighttime animals sitting by the tree. The beaver started gnawing And then there were 3. 3 nighttime animals waiting for the dew. Bat hung upside down, yep. And then there were 2. 2 nighttime animals looking for some fun. Hungry owl went hunting. And then there was just 1. 1 nighttime animal watching for the sun. Then raccoon ran home to bed. And then there were none. Well, our Sandra Boynton book for this week is Pajama Time. And it's published by Workman, I believe. Yes, Workman Publishing. Well, the moon is up, and it's getting late. Let's get ready to celebrate. It's pajama time. So pull on the bottoms and pull on the top. Get yourself set to pajama dee-bop. It's pajama time. Now some are old and some are new. Some are, what color? Red. And some are blue. Some are fuzzy and some are not. But we can all pajama in whatever we've got. It's pajama time. Oh yes, it's pajama time. Now some are pink and some are green and some are the ugliest I've ever seen. They might be stripy or polka dot, but we can all pajama in whatever we've got. It's pajama time. So pajama to the left, pajama to the right, jamma, 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 PJ. Everybody's wearing them for dancing tonight. Jamma, 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 PJ. Now all around the room in one big line, wearing our pajamas and looking so fine. It's pajama time. Then hop into bed. Turn out the light. You can have a party in your dreams tonight. It's pajama time. Hush, hush, it's pajama time. Hush, hush, it's pajama time. Shh. Good night. Sleep tight. The end. So thank you for joining me and my buddy Bernard for some bedtime stories. We'll be back next week with some more stories, a new flannel board story, and some fun. See you then.